Alright, we're going to do a quick change for the Anakin vs. Dooku fight in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Later, I'll do a video on how the Anakin and Padme romance could have been handled a lot better, but for now, I want to show you the first movie scene I ever re-edited and show how I altered it and tell you why. Let's begin.
Brave of you, boy. But I would have thought you had learned your lesson.
I am a slow learner.
Anakin!
So Anakin just insults himself here, and why? Why? And also, this isn't a huge complaint or anything. I just want to point this out, but why did Obi-Wan throw his lightsaber to Anakin when Anakin already has a lightsaber of his own? I mean, Obi-Wan could have ignited his lightsaber to throw it at Count Dooku, maybe throw it at his knees to distract him by making him have to turn to block the incoming lightsaber, giving Anakin an opening to strike. I think that would have looked pretty cool, but with the way it is, with Obi-Wan throwing his lightsaber to Anakin, I feel that move would make more sense if earlier in the film, while Anakin brags about his lightsaber skills,
You spent as much time practicing your saber techniques as you do your wit. You would rival Master Yoda as a swordsman. I thought I already did. Only in your mind, my very young apprentice.
Obi-Wan mentions that Anakin is better with 2 lightsabers rather than 1. That would give Obi-Wan a real reason to arm Anakin with a second lightsaber, to give him a better chance against Dooku, who is clearly a great adversary. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, I have to say how much I love watching this lightsaber battle. Anakin looks really cool wielding 2 lightsabers. I wish there was more of it. I do understand, though, that George Lucas probably wanted this fight to be on the shorter side to show that Dooku clearly outclasses the young Anakin Skywalker. Wow, this looks really messy. I'm guessing George thought the fight was too short, which explains all the ugly close-ups and flailing that seem to have been added in additional filming. Hayden Christensen and Christopher Lee don't even appear as if they're in the same room together. It's just a bunch of swinging with sound effects randomly thrown on top. Compared to the initial clash, this part of the fight looks really bad. Like the close-ups are doing nothing more than interrupting our view of the fight. So we'll remove all those close-ups, and that's really the reason why I wanted to re-edit this scene in the first place. I wanted to see what it would look like without those close-ups, just because I thought they looked so awful. So now we have another solid exchange here. My only problem is that it appears as if Anakin stops fighting and allows Dooku to slice his arm off. So we'll cut that down a bit to make Dooku's move appear more sudden. We'll also drop a few frames from Dooku force pushing Anakin back toward Obi-Wan. The special effects don't look too hot, so we'll just cover that up as much as possible by having it take up less screen time. Alright, now let's see the re-edited scene and talk about the changes.
Brave of you, boy. But I would have thought you had learned your lesson.
Anakin!
Do you hear how much better it sounds when Anakin isn't insulting himself? I can take him seriously now. Okay, so we removed the clip of Obi-Wan that broke up Anakin and Dooku's initial clash. And would you look at that, those 2 clips fit right together. Like I said, I love watching this lightsaber battle, especially this first part, so I want to see it from start to finish. And now those awful close-ups are gone, and this fight feels smooth and uninterrupted. Also, do you see how simply removing Dooku's backswing makes it seem less like Anakin just stopped fighting? It's more like Dooku turns his block straight into a cut. His force push also benefits from a removal of a few frames. With Anakin taking less time to fly through the air, it now feels like Dooku's push was strong and knocked Anakin back with a good deal of velocity. The two moves together now have a sudden and more impactful feel to them, and that's what we want. Alright, I'm going to make one more alteration to this scene. I'm going to remove Yoda's fight with Count Dooku. And the reason I'm going to do this is because Yoda walks in, hobbling on a cane, then drops it, pulls out his lightsaber, and proceeds to hop around like a spry young warrior. After the fight, he's hobbling on his cane again. It just looks so inconsistent. Now, you could say that Yoda used the Force to help him jump all over the place like he's still young. But honestly,
that's not how the Force works.
Besides, Count Dooku has fought 2 guys already. I think that's enough for the moment. Star Wars isn't about lightsabers, so we should ask if a lightsaber fight is really necessary, or if we can do without it. In this case, I feel we can do without it. So, how do we alter this scene to remove Yoda's lightsaber fight? Well, it's a bit tricky, since we can't include Yoda or Dooku's Force Powers battle because Dooku turns off his lightsaber before the battle, but has it switched on again while he's running away after the lightsaber fight. What we can do though is use this clip from the end of his lightsaber fight with Yoda, which shows Dooku using the Force to pull down a column on top of Obi-Wan and Anakin. If we flip the frame, Dooku will be in just about the same position as he is when he Force pushes Anakin, with his lightsaber in his left hand, which makes it appear as if Dooku Force pushes Anakin, then uses a Force pull on a column to finish off both of his opponents. Let's see how that looks. And that's all for now. Next up, I'm going to show how to re-edit the opening scene of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, to tighten it up by removing any unnecessary elements.